the thing that he said to me, dare to suck. Just dare to suck. I wrote that so big, and I looked at that so many different times, and that was something that got me through. And finally I was like, holy crap, why have I been clenching for so long? Welcome to No Two Gays About It, the podcast for guys like us, gay men over 50, and today it's all about staying young in mind, heart, and body, all by tapping into the relationship that we have with our inner child. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that little bell so anytime we have a new episode out there, you get notified. Hello, everyone. Together with my perfectly behaved inner child, I am Tom Burke.
And with my not-so-well-behaved inner child, I am Michael Foley.
Well, hello there, not-behaved Michael Foley. You know, Michael, I have to tell you, when you came with your idea about inner child to talk about today, I got a little panicky thinking way back into the 80s and the 90s about all those self-help books about healing your inner child and the trauma of the inner child, and totally had flashbacks of wandering around the Bodhi Tree bookstore in Los Angeles. Remember that place?
Oh, I do remember that place. I loved that place.
I love the place too, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure every gay guy out there who is our age who traveled through Los Angeles spent some time there because it was definitely the place to be. But it's not about trauma and inner children, right? So Where did you get this whole idea? What's it all about?
So you hosted a game night recently, and
I did.
It prompted a conversation after the games were done with myself and someone, and how uncomfortable he was playing. And we played this game called Celebrity, which is basically the game that they played on Will and Grace, for anybody who's familiar with that, where it's like the $25,000 pyramid, right? You get a name, you describe it, and that's it. But this particular person was really uncomfortable just allowing himself to play. And I'm with you that like that inner child can make the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
Right.
But this isn't about that petulant little brat who threw himself on the floor or was kicking and screaming to get what it was he wanted. This is about that little kid who asked permission to go to the playground and got it and was able to go outside and engage with his friends in an environment that was safe and nurturing and free from judgment. So that's the inner child I want to discuss and to hopefully help bring out in all of us just a little bit more in our lives to remember to play.
Well, definitely, life is hard, right? I mean, being a gay guy is hard. Being over 50 is hard. Aging is incredibly hard. But, you know, in order to really defeat all of these external forces that are always coming at us, I think it is important that we not only find that inner child inside of us, but kind of get back to that joy, that innocence that we had when we were young, to be able to go out and just, you know, be pirates and spacemen and just let ourselves find happiness as opposed to, you know, being this age and getting bitter about everything and being pissed off about everything. You know, it is important. And we're talking about trying to have not only a young heart and a young mind, but also to have a young body as we are aging. And, you know, all the studies say that if you keep your mind young, the rest of you follows.
Absolutely. It's so true. If you walk around with this weight on your shoulders like, I'm so old, it has an effect on you physically. So keeping that mental muscle exercised and that ability to play and be playful. And again, there's a difference between being childish and childlike. Hopefully, we're going to be talking about the childlike qualities that help keep us young at heart, you know?
All right, so then let's talk about that. How do we keep or get back that feeling of having a young mind. There are 4 different aspects of really recapturing that young mind. The first one is through creativity. What does that mean?
For me, creativity allows myself to just explore new and different ways to bring out things in myself. Like if I wanted to take a painting class, and mind you, I have no artistic ability whatsoever. Remember drawing those little cartoons on the back of a matchbook and you would send it in and they would sort of grade you?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine always came out like, roadkill. It never looked
but
like
does
the
that
square.
matter though? I mean,
No.
it's not like, it's
No,
not
it
like
doesn't
you're
matter at all.
right.
There is
'Cause
such a
you're
thing
not-
called abstract art, right? So that's what I was
Well,
going for.
But it's not like you are going to, you want this great career in art that you're going to be a portrait artist for the rest of your life. It's just finding that creative outlet.
Absolutely. And allowing yourself to, not be a Van Gogh or,
Right.
a Da Vinci, that you could be a Pollock or, whoever does those bizarre, like an
Right.
Escher, those weird sort of winding little caverns through your mind, just to have that freedom and that's the biggest thing I think with our own creativity is sometimes we judge ourselves so harshly that we then tend to put a box over that candle and suffocate it because we're afraid of our own judgment.
So I think for a lot of guys like us out there, these gay guys over 50, they are going to be like you. I don't have any artistic, I'm not going to do this. I'm out, right? And that's what we have to get over. We have to get over that hump and be like, who the fuck cares what it looks like? When we were children, did we really care that our, stick figures were not absolutely perfect? In our minds, they were.
Yeah.
In fact, this is funny. When we were cleaning out my parents' home years ago, and I found this little booklet that I made. I'm sure all of you gay guys out there will remember this too, if you're around my age, when Cinderella was on television. Do you remember
Leslie
that?
Ann Warren?
Yes,
And
right?
what's the guy from General Hospital?
Yes, yeah.
Stuart Damon.
Stuart Damon,
Yes!
yeah. So I was in love with her, and I created this book about Cinderella, and I went through it, and they were just stick figures, but like she was covered in glitter in her beautiful dress, and the wicked stepsisters. I had 2 sisters, so they were so vivid in my mind. But looking at those drawings, I don't know how old I was, 4 or 5 or something, but they're not perfect drawings, but I know in my mind, looking at them, they were as beautiful as Leslie Ann was.
And that feeling that you got when you were doing it, that
right?
It's just the everything in the world was possible when you open that door and just allow your imagination to flourish and thrive.
That's the thing, imagination, to bring that into your creativity. And it's not just art. There are so many other things to do. Going to karaoke and singing is finding some, pretending you're not pretending. Maybe you are Whitney Houston,
or Cher,
singing up there, or Cher, or
Barry
whoever
Manilow.
it is, or Barry Manilow.
I got my two in for the day.
There you go.
I'm good.
Good. So singing or art or writing. You don't have to write the greatest novel, but write a story, write something, a story that you did, whatever. Find your creativity. And just like you said, the feeling that we had as kids when you were creating something, hopefully we get that back. And then that will translate into our bodies to be like, hey, I'm not this curmudgeon-y old guy. I've got some life left into me, and kind of bring that pep back into your step. Awesome. What other kind of creative outlets can we find out there for guys like us?
Well, so I'm going to share a quick story about, remember the pottery store, Color Me Mine? There was a ceramic place that had opened.
I do.
And was all the rave. So when they first opened, I was on a softball team at that point, and I liked doing group activities, and I would always arrange stuff, and I was like, let's all go to Color Me Mine. And, that's exactly how most of the people are.
Oh, really?
I don't want to. I can't paint. But I got everybody to go. And You just I watched because I did ceramics when I was a kid, so
Okay.
I can paint. I can't really draw, but to watch the what came out of these people who were so hesitant and so sort of afraid to be
Right.
in an environment with all these other people who were just having fun and just letting this side of themselves play that they normally don't was so awesome. And
Right.
so, get a group of people together and do something that nurtures the creativity in not only yourself, but those around you. And it's always fun to do it in a group because you watch it grow. And
Okay.
it's such a, that was one of, that's in my memory as one of my most fun moments in LA.
Nice. Okay. Awesome. All right. So everybody get out there and rediscover your creativity or discover your new creativity at this age, whatever it is, writing, singing, dancing, take a dance class. How great would that be? Just to get out there and just find that creativity back so that we can nurture that inner child and kind of find that again.
Yeah.
Another great aspect of rediscovering or to nurturing this inner child of ours, a great word that you brought up to me, curiosity, to be curious. That is so incredibly important because so many people, as they're aging, cut that part off.
Yes, without a doubt. Because it's funny, we don't like to admit that we don't know something. Especially as we get older, because you're like, oh my God, I've been around long enough. I should know the answer to this. But just allowing yourself that ability to be curious about something you don't know
Exactly.
and the ability to learn something new is hugely important as we get older too. Because again, it works different parts of the brain that aren't necessarily exercised because we get in a groove.
We have been talking this whole season of No Two Gays about it, about relationships, and we have discussed how important it is to be open to all these different people who are different than us. And that is to be curious, to ask questions. You're a big person on just asking questions of people. Just that, being at a coffee shop, saying hi to somebody, asking them some questions. Where are you from? What do just that will bring life into you as opposed to sitting there all by yourself, closed off to the world and just like muttering about how pitiful your life is and how hard it is, Just be curious, just ask questions.
I have this thing that I do that sort of reminds me to continue to do it is because there's always something in the course of your day that will come up that you didn't know. And I
Right.
always verbalize that. I'm like, that's my new thing for the day.
Okay,
That was the thing I needed to learn today, right there.
cool.
And it reminds me,
Awesome.
oh yeah, I got to keep doing that.
Awesome. My mother-in-law, Scott's mother, I thought she was awesome. She was this, like, you would go to her house and there would be like a group of 20-year-olds all sitting around. Be like, hi. Like, here's my new friends. She was always taking classes and surrounding herself with different groups of people that she was not used to. I saw that, 30 years ago thinking, that's who I want to be. That's what kept her so young. She would be there in her little blue jeans rolled up and her sweatshirt. My mom was never dressed that way. I just thought that was so amazing. And I wanted to be that type of old person who is always out there seeking new experiences and new people. And you can only do that by being curious.
Without a doubt. Yeah, push yourself, again, make different friend groups, have different activities that bring you outside of your comfort zone.
Right.
Because it helps build that curiosity.
And it not only builds this inner child of yours and helping you be young at heart, but we've also talked so much about being lonely as we're aging and how our friend groups are dispersing and people are leaving us. And as we age and age and age, we're going to lose more and more people. But to go out and take a class, like-minded people, take a class in photography if that's something you like. You'll meet those people in class. You get out of your house, and there's so many benefits to being curious, right? So many benefits to taking a class or just putting yourself out there. Unbelievably.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to try something new. You know, it is what keeps us young.
Taking that first step is really difficult, as we've talked about over and over. But once you do it, you're like, oh, why did I wait? Why did I wait so long? Why did I just sit in my house thinking about how I can't pay my bills and I'm so sad and I can't whatever and I'm so sickly? Get out there, find that joy that we kind of lost before. All right, here's another thing. You mentioned this word earlier. This is another way to recapture our youth, recapture that joy. Playfulness.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Oh my God. Yeah. And get your minds out of the gutter, because I know slings and ball gags popped into a lot of people's minds.
I'm sorry, not until you just mentioned that, but thank you very much.
We know different people. That's all I'm going to
Okay.
say. So playfulness. I didn't take up the game of tennis until I was 36 years old. And I fell in love with this sport or activity more than anything I've ever experienced in my life. And that's what I would hope that somebody walks away from this from, that they want to try something new, because I always thought it was the dumbest sport. I didn't get it. I would see it on TV and I'm like, they're hitting a ball back and forth. How hard could that be? And come to find out, seriously, the hardest thing I would ever learn, and also the best lesson in learning who I was as a person. Because tennis is a solo sport where it's all on your shoulders, unless you're playing doubles, which makes it a little easier. But still, I discovered something about myself that was shocking, and on a level that I kind of was aware of, and that was how hard I was on myself. And I was playing one day with somebody, and I would curse at myself. I'd be, oh my God, you're so fucking stupid. Why did you do that? And he stopped me and said to me, come here. He said, I wouldn't be out on the street and allow somebody to talk to you like that. I'm not going to allow yourself to talk to you like that. And it was seriously one of the biggest revelations I've ever had in my life. And that was because I pushed myself to do something new and learn a little bit more about who I was.
Awesome. Which is exactly what we're trying to get out of. Get out of this old curmudgeony, life's hard, everything's difficult. Stop talking to yourself that way.
And play. Just play. Just play.
A great example. We had game night at my house. A very stupid, silly game for guys our age to be playing. But it was fun, and we got to be silly and stupid. And there's something so amazing about being stupid, Like, we have spent, so many of us our age have spent our lives trying to be so perfect and doing the right thing and presenting so, whatever, to just let that go and be like, you know what? This is silly and stupid, and I've got to, act out some stupid name that I don't even know,
Can I just say 2 words? Laura Branigan.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That was a word that
was a word I put in, and Tom was like, I
don't know who this
she's
is.
a singer.
Yeah.
Which was awesome, because it wasted most of his minute. But yeah, and I just want to point out that the ironic thing is, we're always worried about how people are going to judge us. So it keeps us sort of restrained. But if you go a little deeper on that, if you sort of scratch off the Formica surface, you realize that it's not the other person's judgment that you're mostly afraid of. It's the judgment you're putting on yourself about allowing yourself just to play and be free and be silly.
Right. Yeah. And I do understand that there are a lot of people who don't have groups of people, or who can't entertain, and who are, because of health reasons, maybe they are stuck in their home and they cannot get out. But there are still games you can play. How many things that I have read about keeping this mind active, doing crossword puzzles, doing Sudoku, however you pronounce that, doing whatever games on your computer, just to keep your mind sharp, to keep it young as possible. So any way that you can play anything.
Oh, and here's a great little plug, I guess, for the folks here who live in Palm Springs, because we have a lot of listeners here in Palm Springs, is that there's a new place that opened called Play Lounge. And it is built specifically to go and play games. They have a wall of games, there's a pool table, they have giant Jenga, and all this fun stuff. Hundreds of decks of cards, or if you want to go and play spades or hearts with people, just get a group together and go out and do something different. And then you'll meet other people who are there also playing other games.
Right? How awesome is that? Yeah. Great. And I forgot to tell you, Michael, I've been working with those people from Palm Springs Play Lounge because I'm on the committee for the HRC Big Garden Party here, and they are going to have an entire like room area of just games, which is awesome.
Awesome.
They also have, they're bringing their espresso makers, and they're going to be doing all these coffee drinks because I have not been to the place yet, but I hear it's amazing. Have you been there yet?
I've been there a few times. It's
cool.
They have built a really wonderful environment, I have to say. And here's the interesting thing that you always see in places like that. Usually there'll be nobody doing anything, and it just takes that one person to go and start a game. Then all of a sudden there's the flood where the door was opened and everybody feels a little bit safer now to go and do something. Well, I'm going to encourage people out there who, if you're in a place like that, be that person who goes in and starts the game.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Get out. And not only that, like maybe your town doesn't have the Play Lounge like we have, but I'm going to challenge you too. Have a freaking game night at your house. Very simple to do, right?
Yep.
Just get some people together, play some stupid game, be as stupid as you possibly can and silly, and you will see just the like weight of life just falls off of you for the few hours or whatever that you're playing. It's such a great way to tap into that joy that we had as children,
and also the conversation that grows out of environments like that, because you do feel the sense of safety, and the conversations that come out of it will have nothing to do with the game but be the best part of your night.
Right, totally.
Because me and some friends used to get together and play. And I'm not kidding, we would play cards from 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning until 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And we'd take a dinner break, but we would bring the cards to whatever restaurant we went to and continue the game.
Oh, my God.
We would do that like once or twice a month on a Sunday. Wow. And it was awesome. One of my friends' wives would come and sit and just watch us and listen to us.
Yeah, well, my inner child is judging that group, but that's who my inner child is.
That's okay.
Yeah, I know. No, so
we would invite you to come play.
Well, thank you very much. That's it. Also, like just playing cards. Get it together with some people and play some cards. There's always guys looking for something to do. That if you're a poker player, play poker, or whatever it is. Awesome.
Or Uno. It's one of the simplest cards game you could play, right? And you could play with up to 8 people. It's awesome. Just play and have fun.
Just play. All right. So far we've talked about being curious, about playing, and of course about creativity. But one thing that I love, another aspect of this finding your young heart, is self-expression. This is a big thing. I think so many people stop, especially men our age, feel like they have to be a certain thing. They have to present a certain way. And that's not always the case. Those are the guys who are kind of giving up. But then you see those guys who are just like, hey, just out there and just being their authentic selves, which might be too much for some people, but who cares,
If somebody's out there being themselves and having fun and they're not hurting anybody else or intruding on your space or whatever it is you're doing, leave them alone.
Yeah.
Let them have it.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Just worry about yourself and just learn from them. Yeah, maybe, I'm one of those guys. I am not going to be skipping down the street with a boa and just screaming, hey girl, hey. That's not me. But I will be presenting my self-expression. There's so many different ways that you can. How do you self-express express yourself? That was a weird, yeah,
How do
no.
I self-express myself?
Express.
That's, wow, boy, does that bring up
How do you
anything.
show your self-expression?
There are so many different venues where that's means something different, but mostly it's
Yeah.
just trying to push myself to remember who I am and to be able to let that out. Because I find myself, believe it or not, a lot of times censoring myself, or just if I'm in a place where I don't feel comfortable, I'll just turn off. I find a corner, sort of retreat, and I just watch. And I've gotten way better at pushing myself to move into the environment and to be able to express myself and be okay with that and allow the fear to maybe dissipate just a little. Because it does come down to fear.
You know, that is the main thing that is keeping everybody from moving forward, is that fear. Something that I learned when I was in therapy years ago by an amazing therapist who was the right guy for me. One of the things he said, and those of you that know me by now, the way I was raised, who I am, everything has to be perfect. I have to always be presenting as whatever. And, the thing that he said to me, dare to suck. Just dare to suck. I wrote that so big and I looked at that so many different times, and that was something that got me through. And finally I was like, holy crap. Why have I been clenching for so long? It's so easy to just dare to suck, and it just makes everything so easy. So another challenge for all you guys out there, dare to suck,
I say that to people who always wanted to start playing tennis, and I'll go out on a tennis court with anybody. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so bad. I'm like, but you know how you get better? You keep playing. You got to suck especially with tennis, you got to suck for a long time before you can get better. And it's with most things in life.
Well, that's the thing. And you might not get better, but you're having fun along the way.
Yes.
And that's what's so much, again, you're not going to be the doubles champion of the world. That's not your goal. Your goal is to get out there, meet people, have fun, find this joy that we're talking about, this inner child, this, freedom that we used to have, to let go of all of the negatives that life is giving us. So if you suck, so what?
Yeah.
That's the thing, even in, like we were talking about, taking classes, art classes, dance classes, music classes, whatever. If you suck, who cares? You're just out there having fun, finding joy.
But I'm also going to guarantee you that you will be better than you were the day before.
Yeah.
Not only at what it is you're doing, but who you are as a person.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, who cares how you are at tennis? Yeah. It's just that you are a happier, younger mind, younger heart, younger body person that you were sitting there complaining about life. Yep. So a little bit back to the self-expression. I think one of the greatest ways of self-expression is through our clothing, how we want to present out to the world. Michael's laughing because I'm...
Because I know my cargo shorts are going to come into the conversation.
I was trying not to get there.
Oh, as soon as you mentioned clothes, I saw your face.
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen. It is not 1992. We are not wearing our capri cargo shorts anymore. I have been trying for years to pry those off of him, to get him into some regular shorts, but it's how he expresses himself, so I have to just
cargo
step back
shorts make me happy.
Okay.
And it's a pocket thing. I love having lots of pockets.
Well, there you go.
I do.
And
anyone else out there who wears cargo shorts, let us know. Because I want to feel like I'm part of something bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Another way to express ourselves, who we are, is not only through our clothing, but how we live as well. The way we decorate our homes. I love, going to someone's home that I haven't been at yet, just because you learn so much about them. Walk into their powder room. What is that all about? What kind of pillows do they have on their couch? What kind of, and I'm not judging as to like, oh, they don't have a $14,000 sofa. They're not, Their artwork isn't. I'm just looking at how they express themselves, how they surround themselves in their lives. And it's so telling. You can go into someone's home that is dark and dreary, and that person is also dark and dreary. That's when I drop by with like, just thought I'd bring some really bright
sunflowers
cushions
or sunflowers.
Yeah.
Bring a bouquet of sunflowers, because I don't think anybody wants to be dark and dreary.
Right.
It's just we find ourselves in places we didn't expect to be, and sometimes it's hard to get out of that, even though it's not the most comfortable place we sit.
Right. Exactly. But that's where it all starts, in your home. And if you need to learn to start expressing yourself, then, change things around you. Speaking of my own self-expression and how I live, I was told the other day that this person thinks that I'm the only one who changes their towels and bath mats per season. I'm like, what? Everyone doesn't do that?
No. No.
Like, I'm sorry, what?
That is a hard no. Because I want to share something also with the game night we had. We also had a dinner. And
Yes.
Tom's entire table was autumn themed. From the napkins to, it was
To the food, everything.
What was this?
I love a good theme.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow, my head just doesn't go there. But it's awesome.
Even the cocktails were autumn themed. Yep. That's how I express. I love a good theme. I love entertaining. I love to do all of those little details. And as my husband says, he's like, no one's going to notice this shit. I'm like, I notice it. That's all that matters to me. And it makes me so happy to see that the, napkins match the placemats, match the dishes, match the silver. Like, that makes me feel the joy that, we're looking for. So I totally get that self-expressing through not only our clothes, but in our homes as well. And the way that we present out to the world is a big way. So many people, and you and I have talked about this, Michael, so many people have their shtick, their thing that they do, and great. If that's what they needed to create a persona that can bring them out to the world and face, things that might be scary or face sucking, as we've said, then great. Do your shtick, do you,
Yeah. And again, if you're not hurting anybody and you're living your best life, God, have at it. Please, man. It's too short.
You do you. That's all that you can do, just be you. That's something then in my work that I try to get people to understand. That's all you have to be, is just you.
And I think it's hard, especially for, folks, guys our age and from our generation, because we spend so much of our lives hiding who we were that it just becomes second nature. And then we carry it into our 20s and our 30s and our 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s, because it's our knee-jerk response. We hide that authentic self, that person who should have been allowed to go to the prom with another boy. Or your first kiss should have been who you wanted it to be with, not somebody who you felt peer pressure from to kiss a girl. We didn't have that. And so we have to continually remind ourselves, that's right. There is that younger person inside of me who deserves that now, and allow them to come out and play.
It's not just the younger person, that inner child, but it's that joy, that freedom that we squashed forever. It's time, if you are not, to take it back, to rediscover that, to get out there and to play and to be curious and to be creative and to express yourself whatever way you want to be, because it's our right as humans to do that. And if you want to be a younger, happier, healthier human being, you can't keep pushing that part of you away. And so that's what we're here to do. We're here to challenge all of you to get out there and do that, to find those parts of you. Because we'll keep doing it.
We will. And we'll never be able to go back and, I mean, some places do have proms for folks our age again, which I think is the most awesome thing in the world. But, we may never be able to grab that moment back. So, if you're going out on a date or you're going out with your husband, get dressed up to the nines. Go out arm in arm and be proud of who you are.
Right.
And take that part of you back.
Have a game night. Be as silly and stupid as you possibly can.
Absolutely.
Have a dinner party. Have your dishes match your everything. Whatever it is.
Have the carpet match the drapes? Is that kind of that?
Apparently,
yeah,
yes. Just whatever way you can, rediscover your joy or find your joy so that we can push away all of these exterior forces of life that are so freaking difficult and are just going to keep getting more and more difficult as we're aging. As these gay men, it's tough out there. So stop making it tough on yourself. Make it easier and just have some happiness. All right, that was awesome. This has been awesome. So, Michael, tell us, before we send you out into the world in your cargo shorts, what are you going to do this week or today or tomorrow to kind of nurture this inner child of yours, to find that joy? What's something you're going to do?
Well, if you listen to the show regularly, you know what tonight usually is, and it's musical bingo. So I'm going out and going to sing my ass off at musical bingo with all the folks at the tool shed and Larry, who runs it, who is one of the most amazing people I've met in Palm Springs, and just have a ball.
Fantastic.
How about you? What's your kid going to go out and play?
What is he going to do? Well, I'm going to go and ride my bike this afternoon.
Nice.
I'm going to take a really long bike ride. And that was something that I loved when I was a kid, like, look at me, no hands, look at me, no feet, and then like crashing into some wall or something. But I didn't care. So I'm going to go and recapture that youthful bike riding. So if you hear someone going down the street going like, hey, look at me, no hands.
Whee!
That's me. Exactly. Whee! And then crash. I'm doing that. Every day I'm going to challenge myself to express myself or to be playful or curious. I'm not only going to talk this talk, I'm actually going to try to walk this walk. So when we come back and meet next week, I'm going to fill you in on all of my inner child doings out there. Nice. And I want everyone else out there to do that as well. Let us know what you're doing out there to find this joy, to get out of the darkness and kind of recapture this inner child of yours. Let us know what you're out there doing. And Michael, how can they do that?
You folks can reach us at any of the social media outlets at No Two Gays About It, and it's the number 2, so no, the number 2, Gays About It, and that's across the board. Facebook, Threads, YouTube. I had a brain fart there. And YouTube, and also TikTok. We are on TikTok. We're TikTokers. And if you need to reach us another way, you could hit us up at Gmail if you have something more personal that you want to share with us. You could always shoot us an email at no2gaysabout@gmail.com. And again, go check us out on YouTube. And if you do, please like and subscribe and ring that little bell of ours. And you'll get notifications when we're on there. And it's No Two Gays About It on YouTube. And join our conversation, please.
I almost started singing, you can ring my bell. But then I stopped myself and I was like, what are you stopping yourself? Your little kid wants to sing.
You got to come back to musical bingo because that's a song that's played.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Disco Divas, Anita Ward. Hey.
Hey, girl, hey. All right. Awesome. Get out there. Find your joy. Michael, this has been awesome. Get out there and find your joy. And until next time, Michael.
Until next time, Tom. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening.
Thank you all.
Hey, thanks for listening. And don't forget to like and subscribe.